X-Pac 12360. Featuring weekly news, insider commentary, and interviews with superstars, past and present from the world of pro wrestling.
A new day is dawning for DX.
And now, your host, Sean X-Pac Waltman.
Welcome back to X-Pac 12360, ladies and gentlemen. Second take here, trying to get this thing going. Hey, I'm joined, we are joined by one of my dearest friends, like a brother to me, a member of the Clique and the Hall of Famer, Scott Hall. What's up?
Yeah.
Hey, get back.
Yeah. So we just...
How come I can't see you? Last time I could see you.
I don't know, Mark.
Unfortunately, the studio can't do that this time.
I don't really...
You tech nerds fix it.
I
I
don't look that good today.
was on your very first show and I could see you.
And that was a rough one, man. Remember that? Hey, so like Scott comes on and I introduce him and I'm all nervous. It's my first show and I go, my brother from another mother. That's like the lamest shit you could ever say.
I remember, we went on and you said, you're hating this, aren't you? And I said,
yeah.
I don't do podcasts. If it's not one of my friends or somebody with a huge audience, I just decline them.
Yeah, luckily we're both.
But of course I'll do yours.
But no, it was just, and I keep that in mind. That's why I haven't asked you again until now. Because we're going to Raw 25 and it's going to be sweet, and so like, is there any, but Scott, is there any two better people to talk to about Raw than you and I?
I would say no.
Okay.
I mean, we did people who are of a certain age are aware that we did the first angle on Raw ever.
Yeah.
When you beat Razor, it was an iconic moment on Raw by the way, they've been shown it the last 2 weeks. They only show you beat me. They don't show me dominating early.
That's right. No, they did the other night, man. They showed you chop the living shit out of me. And then peeled me halfway across the ring.
I just got a text from the office that said, please bring your ring gear.
Did they?
Yes. I said, I texted Kev. Kev just had his knee replaced.
Right.
I said, are you ribbing me? Are you going to tell me 3 or 4 days in advance? Give me a little notice, and for the right money, I'll have abs showing.
Yeah.
I said, now how about I bring stuff I wear to appearances? I've got gimmick street clothes.
High tech jeans and an NWO shirt.
Yeah. but I think that we're going to have a rematch. So I'm just giving you a heads up. I think it's about time I went over.
You went over in the diaper match.
When I was on the way out the door.
I was just talking about that to somebody. I was like, yeah, I was being punished when he's leaving and I still do the job.
I wasn't sure what the finish was. You know how Vince was back then. He hated me because I gave my notice.
Did you really
I thought for sure I'd be wearing a diaper.
Did you? I was going to say,
and by the way, I look pretty good in a diaper. I'm wearing one right now.
I actually wrestled with a diaper on, and it wasn't that match. When I tore my ass the first time, yeah.
When you ripped your butt all over?
Yeah, for the first time.
You need to stretch that thing out a little bit. It was getting too tight.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
I offered to do it a couple times. You wouldn't let me.
Yeah. I wanted you to help me take the stitches out. Anyways, hey, so, man.
No, I don't think there's anybody better than us. I mean, we did I'll never forget first meeting you because I had known about, I don't know how long in advance you knew about it, but I knew 6 months in advance. And back then there was only 4 pay-per-views, so it was a whole different era. But Vince told me, we got this, and I was the people were turning me babyface, blah, blah, blah. And he didn't want to do the same old thing where I ran in and saved somebody. So at least it was a creative idea.
Yeah.
And then, but you know how they worked us back then. I'll never forget, Lex and I red-eyed in from Cali, went to Stanford. Remember the old face-to-face interviews with Mean Gene?
Yeah, on our days off, yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, everything was live. Well, we weren't off. Then we had to go to the first Raw. No, it was actually the third Raw because they went out their way to beat you a few times before to establish that you were like a job guy.
Yeah, they had Curtis Hughes and Matt Bourne beat the crap out of me.
Right. So it was perfect.
Yeah.
But I remember being, you know how Gene was a little testy when you do those. If you stammer on your words, he'd walk out and go coffee for an hour.
Yeah, remember
and make you wait.
Yeah.
And
sorry, we're out of time.
We got to drive all the way to Manhattan Center, and I'll never forget that I come stumbling in there. I'm beat, and I was running pretty hard back those days. So I'm laying on the floor, and you came up and introduced yourself. Yeah, we're working together tonight. And all that. I said, yeah, I know, man. I said, yeah, I'll get with you later. And then I remember going to Pat Patterson, who's a genius, and I went to Pat and said, Pat, what do you want me to do with this guy? And he went, oh, he can do anything. I don't do not worry. God damn it. He can do anything, French Canadian. And so I remember seeing you going, bro, pick one move and just come tell me later. And you went, okay. And you came back and you said, move's on. I said, cool.
Yeah.
See you out there. Like I was, you look. Now seeing it back, obviously it was 25 years ago, so we were both a lot younger. But you look like you were 11.
Yeah.
I mean, you weren't even shaven then, I don't think. Except under your armpits and your legs.
I was no, I couldn't grow any facial hair though. I remember I was really I had a lot of baby fat I was still carrying around at the time. Yeah, and I was I
remember you were traveling with Mr. Perfect, both Minneapolis guys. Yeah. And Kurt, I miss him still to this day. I think about him all the time. But I'll never forget, I don't think you're even old enough to be in the bar at that point. You
Definitely not.
Yet,
I was 20, yeah.
Yeah, so you're in the bar, but you're like so happy, and you're going, drinks for everybody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think I'm holding court right now, right?
You're like the dancing boy. And you're smoking a cigar, and you were like so loaded, you put the lid in your mouth. I will never. And I remember you were rocking that crucifix, but it had an anchor on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Whatever happened to that? You don't wear it anymore.
I'll tell you about that. When I changed relationships, and the next relationship I had didn't want that to come with me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so
I just remember
it was replaced with a nicer piece of jewelry.
It was custom, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah. So no, but some really cool early moments. Remember Kurt when he threw when they ribbed Howard Finkel and he threw Sean through the windshield of Howard Finkel's brand new car.
Kurt never missed an opportunity to rib somebody. He was a master. Well, he was a student of Mr. Fuji. So he was a master, and I mean, Kurt had been in the WWE when he was about your age when you came in. He'd been there as a really young guy, and obviously he had talent. He had no body or anything back then. He had talent. Excuse me, had talent. His dad was a big star, so he got a lot of love, and he got around Pat then, and I think Pat rubbed off on Kurt because by the time I hooked up with Kurt in the AWA. He was already teaching guys like me and Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty and guys like that, hey, it's just about, if it doesn't matter if you win or lose. If it's the guy's night, make them look great.
Yeah.
That was the era. This is 80s, man, when guys were 1, 2, 3, and then they'd kick out.
I almost didn't get beat. Yeah.
No, it's no, if it's your night, I'm laying there forever.
Yeah. Hey, you remember that time?
I'm laying there till your music's done playing.
You remember that time on Raw when it was a tape show, but Men on a Mission didn't realize it was a tape show, and he did that kick out on 3 when they lost to the Head Shrinkers?
Which one, Mo?
Yeah.
They never beat Mabel, right? They beat Mo.
They beat Mo, but he did the kick out on 3, but the thing is it was tape, so they just kind of, they just cut that out. They
should have made him go out there and do it again.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty lame. I smell a rat.
Oh, he has a podcast too. He keeps hitting me up. I keep not being available.
Who's that?
Mo.
Oh God. Yeah.
Well, he's been real sick too, I heard, but he was hitting me up, and it's I don't want to say no to him. I go way back with him, but bro.
I like Mo. Yeah.
No,
Mo.
but then I'll kick out.
Yeah. So, hey, man, and then we had that rematch when I got back from Japan, and I'd freaking splattered all over the concrete.
you beat me in the Manhattan Center, but this is the way Vince had laid it out. Then he said 6 weeks later, when we're in Nelson sweeps rating time, when he gauged television ratings, he said, you're going to have a rematch. And then remember, every week I offered you more money.
Yeah.
And your interviews were so sweet. I think you told me Sergeant Slaughter was directing.
Yeah, Sarge produced them, yeah.
You were so perfect because you had done a lot of interviews at that time. So it was perfect because you looked nervous. And that's what they wanted. That's what everybody wanted. Like,
except for me.
15, 35,
except for me.
And you were like, no, it's just not worth it. You're going to try to hurt me, And it was perfect. I mean, I feel like it was one of the best matches of my career, and I did his job.
Thanks, man.
It lives forever. I'll tell you, I try to sit through Raw. 3 hours is a long time, and I love wrestling.
Yeah.
But so I'm flipping around a little bit, and sure enough, my buddy showed it to me when I was at his house the other day. He has a network, so he showed me the replay. They showed it. Then they showed it live on Monday. This week they showed it again. Now, they didn't show any other stuff. They showed, like, Hugh Jackman coming to the ring and, like a few things here and there, but they didn't play anybody's twice, and I don't know. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I think they probably did that because I cried to Paul about not being in the commercial for the Raw 25. And now they're doing...
That's what I wanted to remind you with. They're advertising everybody but me. I said, well, hell, you're beating me twice. Isn't that good enough? Like,
yeah, and then they just hit me up yesterday and told me they're doing a WWE 24 doc on me. So... probably throwing me a bone. Yeah.
Well, I want him to replay the whole WrestleMania 10 ladder match dinner. I'm not.
Hey, so do you remember like Next TV or whatever, and I came in the locker room and I was bragging about how we did a 3-2 rating, and then everybody started calling me the 3-2 kid for a minute. Yeah.
It was good stuff. I'll never forget because I love that Manhattan Center. I really hope we're there. I'll be happy to go wherever they want me, or I'll go both places. I don't care. I'm there to work. But there's people in the audience literally going like this, like, oh, my gosh. Because in that era, top guys didn't do jobs for, like nobody had ever done that. That's why it worked so good. Vince, I don't know who thought of it. Vince is the one who presented it to me. And Pat was the one who told me, no, do not have a match. Just got a text from Kev. He said he's not even going.
Really? Did he?
Yeah, I just texted them. They told me to bring my ring gear.
Yeah.
I said I gave my outsider stuff to Cody, and I said I have some Razor stuff maybe, but I sold a lot of it because Vince was suing me and I wasn't allowed to wear it.
Yeah, but didn't you call up Rick Bogner, fake Razor, and say, hey, I got some gear if you need to buy it? Or no,
he couldn't fit it in it.
Oh, okay.
He was too.
Yeah, but you were serious. You weren't being a dick.
No. I've never met him. I somehow somebody gave me his info and I hit him up. So I said, bro, I've got a closet full of Razor gear. And I'm not mad at the guy for trying to get paid. If they offer you a spot, you take it.
Yeah.
But what kind of spot is that if you really think about it? But
yeah, I mean, it's like the stuff with, the Diesel thing, Kane did it, and then he ended up having some success, but he came back and, did
right.
that
Well,
under a mask.
he's in a main event Rumble with Brock and Braun. He's had a pretty damn good run.
Yep. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and he started off as Isaac Yankem, as Lawler's sidekick when Lawler was working with Bret Hart. So he's been there a long time, and he's not a mark. He's a good worker. I think did he get elected? I know he was running for some local government in Tennessee. Is that over yet?
It's not, but I can't imagine him not winning that, actually.
No, me either. He's such a stand-up guy. He's a straight guy,
Yeah. So Kev told you. So Kev said he's not coming, or are you just bullshitting?
No. He just texted me. It's right here. He said, "I'm not going."
Huh? He'll be there. Watch. Kev.
No, he'll come in and bitch the whole time.
That's just bullshit.
No, but did you see on his Instagram the shot from the operating room of his knee?
Yeah, it's brutal.
There was nothing there. Like, it was like gone. It looked like a scene from The Walking Dead.
He sent me a picture, and I could see in his face just the pain and just the misery on his face, like post-op. It was brutal.
shit.
Yeah.
He's just doing that to get the nurse to increase the pain dosage.
Yeah.
More drops. No, I don't. He just said I'm not going. And Kev.
Yeah, he'll be there.
He'll be there, but he'll bitch and moan.
Yeah.
I mean, he was walking. I mean, he posted a video too of him walking, and we've been communicating back and forth about that thing. I don't know if we should be talking about it now, but about that business proposal you had for WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And that guy came back with I don't know if you've seen his offer.
Yeah.
And Kev's like, I don't care. I'm going to be there. And he said he's not going to Mania either. Like, to me, I love wrestling. I'm going to the show. I like being around the young guys, but I don't like the catering. But Kev's busy. Kev will do 2 days at WrestleCon probably. Then he has his party.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to go to the Hall of Fame. Now, I like going to all the events.
Yeah,
I enjoy it. But I'm a mark. Like, I grew up with Mark, so did you. Kev didn't. He was bouncing in a strip club here in Atlanta, and they approached him.
Yeah, Kev was a casual fan.
I'm not saying he doesn't love wrestling, but I mean, he grew up a fan in Detroit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't his goal in life to be a wrestler like it was with you and I.
Right. Yeah. So, like, I used to watch Scott. I used to go, like, stand next to Scott at the Tampa Sportatorium when he would be standing there. Before, like, when he was training with Hiro Matsuda, he'd be standing there with his weight belt on, like,
yeah, you always gave me shit about that. I would come from the gym, so I'd have my weight belt on it. So you guys think I'm wearing it like it's a championship belt or something.
Yeah, but you were bigger than everyone on the crew. And even, like, Billy Jack and Superstar Billy Graham were there at the time.
No, I remember I finally met Superstar Billy Graham, and who was that guy who used to run Athletes? Rick
Poston. Yeah.
I finally found out where the boys worked out.
Yeah.
So then I went over there and joined. And that's, then sure enough, I started seeing the boys in there. And I remember I worked out with Sullivan and, you see Billy Jack. But I'll never forget Superstar Billy Graham came up to me one time and said, God, you're a big son of a gun, brother. Like, what are you doing? And I said, he said, you played football? I said, no. I said, I'm trying to get into your business, sir. And he goes, man, you need to go out there and let those Weeder brothers have a look at you before you get your body all beat up. Like he was telling me that pro bodybuilding life is a good life.
Huh. Yeah,
I would have had to done the Marcus Bagwell.
The posing club.
So.
Doc Sports.
Buff is so funny when he tells the story about the calf implants.
Yeah.
He paid $4,500, $5,000 or whatever to get it put in. Then of course they were swollen up for a while. Then they got infected. He had to pay to have them taken out.
Brutal.
But Buff is one of them guys who doesn't suffer from depression.
Always happy. Yep.
Because no matter what happens, he's always laughing, but he went, God, for a day there, they look so good. He doesn't even care. He sees the bright side in everything.
Yeah.
That's why I like hanging around.
We just saw him, right? Where was it? We just saw him. Look good. Don't you remember?
He had a hip replacement. I saw him at a signing in Knoxville prior to the hip thing.
Yeah, but we were in Pennsylvania on a show with him. Remember that NWO thing we did in I can't remember what Pennsylvania, the capital of Pennsylvania or whatever.
Johnstown, maybe?
No, it was one of those, man. In Williamsport. Remember we took a walk across that bridge?
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. Bagwell and Bischoff were there.
Oh, okay.
Here we are sorting shit out live on the show. Anyways. Hey, you guys want to hop in on this?
Well, if you're going to talk about old AWA days and stuff, I got a question for Scott. Scott, back in the day, you had maybe the best mustache in all of pro wrestling, but ever since you left AWA, you've been more or less clean-shaven or a little bit of scruff. When's the last time you tried to grow a mustache?
What are you suggesting? I can't grow a mustache?
No, I'm just asking if you ever just do it for fun, because you had like a full-on Kurt Russell tombstone, incredible mustache.
Let me weren't as out as they are now, and it was working pretty good at the time. I did okay. But no, my son Cody gets on me about it. He's like, Dad, man, why don't you change your look up. And I'm going, well, Cody, I make appearances basically for a living these days, right. And people want to see the guy that you know from TV. So that's kind of why I don't. But he was like, Dad, no, man, rock that big mustache again. Mustaches are coming back. I go, I haven't seen anybody with a mustache.
Well, I can say as someone who's met you and interviewed you and had a photo with you, I would pay you $100 for a Scott Hall AWA mustache photo.
$100. I'll have one by tonight.
Kurt,
You're gonna pay, pal?
Yeah. I'll hook it up, man.
Razors just to get it like this.
Kurt said they used to call you Magnum PU.
Well, the thing is too. At this time, Magnum TA is getting a huge shove in the Charlotte territory. He's one of the top babyfaces in the country, and that dude. Remember Lord James Blears?
Yeah, tally ho.
They used to fly him in from Hawaii to do brutal color commentary on the AWA show that we were filming at the Showboat Casino in Las Vegas. So this dude lives in Hawaii, and they're filming Magnum PI there then, so he sees Selleck around the island, I guess. Yeah. Now, I don't know what they're saying about me on TV till you see it 2 weeks later. So he keeps talking about how I look like Magnum PI. Now, meanwhile, Magnum TA I'm getting heat with him and all the marks. Yeah. And by the time I cross paths with TA, when I'm an underneath guy in WCW, he's going, well, you have to have your own identity.
He was already done by then, right? Magnum was already done by then. He had already had the car accident, and he was done.
No, he was already a gimp. What do you mean I can't roll up in a wheelchair, brother?
Damn. That was stiff.
And I was there, Pop. I was there, and you understand the business. Barry Windham was getting a huge push then. Yeah. And I was riding with Barry because I'd met him in Tampa. And we're outside Crockett Promotions in Charlotte, North Carolina, and he gets his paycheck. So I'm kind of peeking because I work for the Charlotte Orioles ground crew. I get $300 a week. Yeah. I haven't had a match yet. So I'm peeking over to see what he gets, and he got like about $7,500 for the week. And this is back 85. Then? Went out again. Yeah, so Barry was going to drop me off. He went in and gave his notice to Dusty, and Dusty told him, if you feel that way, baby, go ahead and quit now. So he went to New York the next day. He went to WWE.
Is that when he became the Widowmaker?
Mike Rotunda stayed and worked out his 2 weeks' notice, and he joined Barry, and they were tag team for Vince.
Oh, that was before. Okay.
In the meanwhile, now they have a void because they've been pushing Barry on TV. What's his favorite food? What's his favorite color? All this stuff. Yeah. And so now they have a huge void created by that vacuum of him leaving. So they bring TA in, and Dusty starts from having beaten guys in like 4 seconds. Yeah. Like shooting the ropes, belly, 1, 2, 3. That's how TA got his big shove. Because Barry could work circles around TA.
Oh, yeah. Come on, Barry was the best in the world.
I think so. Yeah. And a great interviewer, but he didn't care about talking. He doesn't have a big ego. Excuse me. Yeah. He just cared about the money, obviously, because he wasn't happy with $7,500 for about 5 days of work.
Huh. Yeah. 10 years later, I wasn't complaining about that.
Well, but because of Barry, the territory had come up. Yeah. Bory Funk Jr. had booked Charlotte Promotions into the basement. Yeah. So they traded spots. Dusty took the booking job in Charlotte, and Bory went to Florida and continued and killed Florida off. But Dusty brought it up, and Dusty was slick enough to bring Ricky Steamboat out of retirement. Ricky was running a gym, then he built his own gym. Yeah. He's running his gym. He's done wrestling. They bring him back, and he's teaming with Dusty and stuff, and giving him the rub in that area because, Dusty wasn't that over in that Charlotte area. Nice. Not at that time. He got over.
Yeah, for sure.
I was there. I saw it all happen. I didn't really have any ring skills at that point, but I wasn't stupid. I was aware of what was going on all the time, and I was fortunate enough to travel with guys like Barry and be around guys like Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. And I did what they tell guys to do, keep your mouth shut and your ears open. Yeah. I just listened, so I absorbed a lot of stuff. Like, they do interviews. I go there and sit on the floor all day and watch those guys do interviews. Hey, just learning.
Hey, Scott, we talked about this a lot, and you would tell me about this from the time we. Oh yeah, but hey, we used to talk about this, and you would tell me like how when Vince called you the first time, you said, "Oh no, I'm not ready."
No, it was actually Lanza approached me.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Lanza approached me in St. Louis because they used to do big joint promotions there. AWA would bring top guys in. Charlotte would bring top guys in. Guys would come from Florida. And then the underneath card was the Kansas City guys. I was one of those. And we drove in, and we were the first 2 or 3 matches. So, and I'm jacked back then. You know, this is pre-testing days. I'm young, no injuries. And Lanza comes up to me because he's in the office in the AWA. But he's fixing to jump. He's like transitioning to Vince. And he goes, "Hey, kid, you ready to make a move?" And I said, "No, sir, I'm not ready." And he said, "Everybody's the shits when they start." And I said, "As long as you feel that way, I'm ready." so he started, and this is when, you remember this story, this is when Kurt and Greg Gagne and Vern Gagne went to this exclusive salmon fishing thing in Alaska, and a fish spit a hook in Vern's eye.
Yeah.
And they had to wait for the helicopter to come and get him and stuff. And I remember Kurt going, "Man, Vern didn't even
sell it. Yep.
He just sat there like, you know." So meanwhile, I wasn't officially hired, but Lanza started bringing me to towns. I did TV in Winnipeg. I worked with Larry Zbyszko back what we used to call Broadway back in the day. You'll have to educate your audience on that.
That's a time limit draw.
Bands, we used to wrestle 15, 20-minute draw.
Yeah.
And Zbyszko put me over, like we went and draw, and he led me through the whole thing by the hand. So I've always been loyal to Larry. That's why, like in the, you know, when we were on top NWO days, I involved Larry. I turned Dusty NWO because I never forgot what he did for me. You know how it is. You don't forget the guys who help you. You don't forget the guys who treat you like shit.
Yep.
So, but I wasn't officially hired. You know what, that Bob Geigel, he's such a prick. I was making $50 a night. He owed me $300 for a week's work in Kansas City that I'd already done. But then I had to choose between being put over on ESPN out of Atlantic City or doing a job going out the door in Kansas City for $50. So I chose to go get the win. And he went, "Well, kid, you didn't give me 2 weeks' notice." "Yeah, I gave you 13 days. Sorry." And he kept the money.
Well,
And I remember to this day, I've never felt the same way about him. I always thought, wow. And he's like the president of the NWA. And you're going to take money from a guy who's been in the business a year? Like, I need that 300, bro. What a dick.
Yeah.
What a dick.
Asshole.
No, Harley Race was always cool, but he was always in Japan.
Yeah.
But, you know, so I had to deal with Geigel.
Hey, what was the difference between Kansas City and St. Louis?
Well, St. Louis was a huge market, and they had all the other wrestling companies, TVs came into St. Louis, just like they went everywhere.
Like
but that was the only
Chase.
town. It was like the mafia back then. You don't come to our town
Right.
without permission. But St. Louis didn't have a promotion so much. They would bring stars in from all over, and they'd do TV at the Chase.
At the Chase,
Hotel
yeah.
or something.
Wrestling at the Chase. It was a big show, yeah.
They do that. But then at what was then the Kiel Auditorium, I don't know what they call it now, but then they would have these big shows like once a month. They'd bring in guys from Dallas. You know, the Von Erichs would come in. They'd bring guys in from Charlotte. You know, Flair would be there. Dusty would come from Florida or Charlotte, wherever he was. You know, Rick Martel and obviously Greg Gagne, Kurt Angle, guys on top, and the AWA would come. So, you know, it was really cool. It was the only place that was really doing that at that time. The territories were cooperating, which is really hard for a bunch of egocentric promoters to do.
Yeah, and the reason I asked that, Scott, is because like Kansas City and St. Louis are pretty close to each other.
No, it's about a 300-mile drive.
Is it? It just seemed like it just seemed like they were, but still, like that's pretty close for a territory. For two territories.
No, but I mean, we never ran it as our promotion out of Kansas City because we were running little high school gyms and stuff and drawing 50 people. You know, we didn't have any stars. I mean, we had Rufus R. Jones when he was in his 50s.
Yeah, and Mike George. Did you have Mike George?
We had Mike George, but he only worked part-time.
Yeah. Huh.
And Roger Kirby.
Yeah, Roger Kirby, yeah.
Who at one time had the world leg press record.
Really?
Just a side note. Tracking.
So what? Hey.
I always like to drop a little knowledge on the fans.
Go ahead.
We're talking about Raw 25, and you were talking about Kurt Hennig earlier, and you know, you and Sean have talked a lot about the ribs he does. Can you remember any ribs that happened at Raw that really stick out in your mind?
Well, I mean, it happened wherever Kurt was. See, then Kurt got into a position where, later on, what he would do is he'd have his minions. He'd get young guys.
Like me.
Like, and I learned that from Kurt. Yeah, like you.
Yeah.
Kurt always told me, I would always see him talking to the young guys. And when we did TV at the Showboat in Vegas, the casino would pay us $50. You know, we got paid by the office, but the casino would give us $50 just so you'd go gamble. But what I saw Kurt do a lot of times is he'd endorse it and give it to the job guys if they made us look particularly good.
Yeah.
So I started doing that. And he would always spend time and talk with the guys. Kurt always took a hip toss. If you watch every job match Kurt had, he always let the guy reverse the hip toss. Every match he took a bump for the job guy. But he would go talk to these guys and stuff like that, and I'd be thinking, wow, like what a kind guy. But then I'd see the real Kurt, and he'd come back, he goes, you always got to be nice to the young guys. You never know who they might turn out to be.
Yeah, it's true.
That might be the next Hulkster.
Yeah.
You know?
Plus,
I'm gonna get in his ear now.
I actually did that a little bit, Scott. When I had a guy that did a really good job for me, I'd give him $20 or $50 or something.
Yeah, I've done it. I did it with a job guy who put Cody over real good one time.
And they were already making more money than us that night.
Yeah. Oh, the job guys got paid like $400, $500.
$300, at least $300. We got nothing.
They got their rental cars paid. They got their hotels paid, and they used to give us $50 for a job match. But then if you're on top, you always had a dark match, so you ended up okay. Yeah. But you still had to pay your rental car and your hotel out of it.
Yeah. So when I went, back there from after the NWO stuff that we were doing, and I ended up back there, they had changed things, and so Raw wasn't just squash matches anymore, right? It's like it is now because Nitro was putting on the good stuff. Raw had to, and so like I was thinking, what are these TV payoffs? What are they going to be like? They started paying us on TV like they did in the house shows. So like that, thank God, because man, that was two days out of the 4 days of work that week.
Right. I think that I really think a squash match done correctly would be good. They
need to have you teaching guys how to do those
squash matches early. I think done correctly, people would watch a squash match.
And I always tell people, I said, if you want to know how to do a proper squash match / enhancement match, watch Scott Hall's, because no one did a better squash match than you.
Well, thank you. And I learned a lot off that off Kurt, because he went, because the guy would tell you got 4 or 5 minutes. So he goes, don't ever cover the guy till it's time to pin him.
Yeah.
So I would just do the kick him around, slap him around thing, like look at you, look till the ref buzzed me to go home. Then I'd give him career ender, razor's edge,
and take your time covering them.
I remember talking to, the job guys would always come to you and go, Mr. Ramon, I'm working with you tonight, and I'd go, well, have you ever seen me work before? And I'd go, yes, sir. I said, well, I don't change much, bro. And I said, don't worry, you'll never be lost because I'll be all over you. So I'll see you out there. And I would tell him, and I said, I realize you're getting about $400 tonight. I said, you're going to earn every bit of it because I'm stiff as hell.
Yeah. And I just always remembered that guys would screw up on the sack of shit slam because they would post or something like that when you.
Or they'd go the other way. Yeah.
So, Scott, going back to your match with Sean on Raw, what was it like wrestling someone his size? And, once he did go over, were you surprised at the crowd's reaction?
No, it went exactly as programmed. And the thing is because when Vince laid it out to me, he said, now, this is really important that you kayfabe it, which to most people know by now, but that means keep it quiet. So I'll never forget, how you have to go up the stairs at the Manhattan, so you go up the stairs, and I crossed paths with his godfather now. I think by then he was either Kama maybe or the Papa Shango gimmick.
He was still Papa.
He went through 3 or 4 gimmicks up there because he was Taker's buddy. And he's a great guy. But he went, bro, did you fail the piss test? I went, I don't know what's going on, man. I just do what they tell me. And that's when I know if the boys are marking out about it, this is going to work.
Yeah, it worked perfectly. Better.
And Vince made it clear because about guys doing the kick out on 3 thing.
Yeah.
I said, Vince, do I kick out? Which 2? He goes, no, absolutely not. It's got to be a clean win. Because then there can't be any controversy. It has to be clearly you won. And then I'm going, what? Because otherwise you'd have been the 1-2, kid.
Well, what about wrestling someone his size? Like, how was that different for you?
Well, I prefer it because I'm not that strong.
Whatever.
No, I mean, it was a perfect matchup, and because they preceded it by him getting squashed by guys prior to that who gave him nothing.
Yeah.
So I went out and gave him nothing. We did the three-legged man. I remember you're so flexible, edging the three-legged man. And then, you flew for me. Like, I remember that, like, when I bealed you, you just flew, and people going, oh, And that was back when they were turning me, and it's New York.
Yeah.
So they liked Razor. So it was the perfect place, the perfect time. And then the interviews you did leading into it were so good. Like, I offered you 1,500, 35, 5, 75, finally 10. It was like, you went, no, it's just not worth it. And then finally you went, like, okay, 10 grand, that'll change my life. I'll take it.
Even the 10 grand wasn't worth it, Scott. That match did more than 10 grand worth of damage to me. That's for sure.
I ran into a guy in a grocery store yesterday who came up to me, and he's a big fan. He said, man, I can't wait to see you on Raw 25. And I said, well, and he talked about the match in the Manhattan Center, and then he talked about the rematch in Poughkeepsie. He goes, oh, that time kid just ate the concrete. And I said, bro, that was my fault. I said, that was the second time I ever worked with him. And I said, remember, I moved the mat, and the storyline was I was going to razor's edge you on the concrete, and I'm going to squash the stick mat. And then you backdrop me on the concrete. You went to the top to do the plancha on me on the concrete. Now, when we did the first match in the Manhattan Center, I had the luxury of asking Mike Coyote, the referee, like, is he up there? I was selling the missed post. I turned around and said, is he ready? He went, yeah. And I turned, you beat me. Now I'm on the floor, the ref's in the ring counting. So I don't have anybody to ask. I guess I could have asked somebody in the front row, is he ready? But I turned too fast because I thought, this young guy is probably so nervous that he's up there waiting on me. So it was my fault. And I've told you this before. I turned too soon. Then you saw me turning, and you tried to hurry up so I didn't look stupid standing there, and you slipped. And when you hit that concrete, bro, you were out.
Yeah.
Your eyes rolled back. Now, we're the last man, and it's live. And I look at Vince, and he looks down. Now, watching the commentary back, he wasn't blowing me off. He was commentating.
Yeah.
I remember I rolled you in the ring. I looked at Ben and went, F it, pin him. And I'm thinking, can't do that. That kills this whole storyline. No, I'm supposed to chase me, supposed to steal the money. And then, like, I'm thinking, what do? I was going to have you just small package me and beat me again. That was all I could think of. And you went, like, with your eyes rolled back, you went, moonsault. And I went, oh, my God, he's alive. And I went, I pushed you in. I'll never forget this. I pushed you in the corner, just like last time. Move, moonsault. So you did, and in the first one, you did this kind of a cross body.
Yeah. Like
you looked back. This time, you didn't even look. You just dove. I grabbed you one. If you watch the tape closely, you'll see and money.
Yeah,
like we used to say, you are Queer Street and liking it.
Yeah, what Scott said there was that is when I hit him with the moonsault. Scott was gonna have me pin him right there, and Earl was like, kick out. And then they both went, get the money, run. Yeah. So somebody asked me.
I'm supposed to chase you, but you're not running. I don't know how much of this you remember. I remember it all. Like
I do too.
I'm supposed to chase you, but you're walking, and I'm going, what do I do? I said, I know what I do. I'm just going to blast him through the curtain, and then he'll know to run. So I drew back, and I was going to tear your head off, and all of a sudden you went zoom.
Yeah.
And you ran out. It was snowing in Poughkeepsie. You ran out. I think, who was it? Kev in a Cadillac?
I don't know. I don't know who was out there.
You jumped in the Cadillac, and off you went. So now I'm really humiliated. Now I got beat and lost 10 grand. So the storyline was perfect. And I think we did even a bigger rating that time.
That was the 3-2, which was a huge. That was a huge rating for back then. That was the biggest one they'd ever had. Honestly.
Right.
Yeah. So boy, eyes were rolling when I said that in the locker room. Holy shit. Yeah.
Look, you were a heat-seeking missile.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I was quoting the Wrestling Observer, and yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pre-internet. For all you kids out there who don't know, there was a thing before the internet called dirt sheets.
Yeah.
Where guys who've never been in the ring rate your matches and give opinions on your work. Guys like Dave Meltzer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Who's apparently a really respected authority. I don't think I've ever even met him.
You probably have. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
He's probably been. Yeah. But
I don't care either.
somebody asked me, hey, how did you even get up from that? I said, there was too much on the line for me not to get up.
Yeah, I didn't know what to. Well, I'm picking you up because I'm going to throw you in the ring, and you're like, you were so light, it wasn't hard. But I mean, I'm picking you up, and I roll you in. I'll never forget. I looked at Vince. He looked down. At the time, I thought, wow, nobody's going to help me. When I hear it back and hear, listen to the broadcast, he continued to broadcast. He wasn't magooing me. But I looked at Baby Earl, and I'll never forget. He went F and pin him, like he's on. And it was you, bro. That's when I gained so much respect for you because I'm thinking, all I can think of is small package. Like, just pin me. We can still continue the storyline. Now you beat me again. It'll still work. And that was all I could think of. And you went, Moonsault.
Because all I was thinking is, I'm not doing a job for this guy. Okay, you did one for me. I ain't returning the favor.
You are Monday.
Yeah. That's what you think.
Well, speaking of Monday and the 25th anniversary of Raw, you said you always like going back and meeting and seeing these young guys. Are there any young guys you're looking forward to seeing or you want to be involved with on some kind of segment on the Raw show?
I'm a Finn Balor fan. I'm a Kevin Owens fan. I like Cesaro and a lot. It doesn't bother me at all. I had no problem with the Bullet Club doing it. Of course, I think Vince sued him, but I don't care because they know where it came from. And now, kid, you know how it is when you go to appearances, a 3-year-old kid will walk up to you and go like this.
Yeah.
Because their parents are teaching them what it means. And it's just, I think it's great. But I was reaching out to Finn Balor when he was still in New Japan.
Because Cody was a big fan of his stuff.
Excuse me?
Cody was a big fan of his stuff.
Yeah, and he was cool to Cody. And Cody's doing good now. He bet on himself and left New Japan and went to Noah, where he took a pay cut. He doesn't get to live in the dojo for free and eat free anymore, but he's lucky enough to have a Japanese girlfriend. But now he has singles matches. He gets to have just two regular tag matches instead of 8-man, 10-man tags. So he's getting a lot more ring time, and he's getting way better. And he gets to be away from me.
Yeah.
Like he's not. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Life with me is no day at the beach. Plus, I always wonder. Like I asked some of these other guys. Like I remember asking Bob Orton Jr. what it was like with Randy, and talking to other guys. Going like, I remember I asked Bob Orton. I said like, what do you do with Randy? Like, do you try to give him advice about his matches, his interviews, and stuff like that? He goes, oh, hell, you can say whatever you want. They don't listen anyway. Yeah. And I went, oh, okay, good. So it's not just me.
That's crazy. Your father is like one of the greatest and best minds ever in wrestling, but you're not going to take his advice. You'll take
because I made him make his bed and eat his vegetables and, do his homework and stuff. And I have to do I choose dad. So, and I know you feel the same way about your kids. I choose dad.
Yeah.
Like it's not who I am, it's what I do. I was blessed enough to do something that I loved for a living and still continue to. I mean, how sweet is it that they're bringing us back 25 years later?
Yeah, it's
I'll take that bone.
Yeah.
They bring us into Mania every year. I'll take it,
Yeah.
I like being around the young cats because I remember what it was like being one of those young cats when God. You'd mark out. I'll never forget the first time I saw Killer Kowalski. I'm like, oh my God, it's Killer Kowalski. He was in catering or something. We were in Boston, and he had that horrible looking toupee on, and he trained Triple H.
Yeah.
And at that time, just out of respect, because I think Killer was making a couple of the shows. He was coming to TV the next day as well, and so I asked Triple H. I said, man, that rug is horrible, bro. You're like one of his boys. Why don't you tell him to upgrade? He goes, Scott. He called me Razor back then. He goes, he sleeps with it on.
Did they room together?
They were sharing a room because he's just, he trained him. He's being respectful, But I remember how cool it was that I thought it was really cool that the WWE brought the old timers in and showed them some love. You know, I think that's great because, well, I mean, their slogan is now, then, forever.
Yeah.
So like we're the then guys.
It was always cool to see Freddie Blassie and guys like that.
Yeah, guys that you watched on TV when you were a kid, and you go, oh my god, and they're so cool.
Yeah.
You know, like wow. You know. Yeah, I always marked out on it. I loved it. I love that they continue to do it. I mean, I was at my buddy's house the other day, and he showed me on the network they keep redoing the Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
Interviews that we did a long time ago, just different parts. They plug in the current stars talking about it. And this time they had like all the current top guys, you know, Randy Orton, John Cena made some comments, Cody Rhodes, like a bunch of guys, and they're all talking about, we thought it was real. Like they're little kids, they're in school, and they're thinking, we really thought that the WWE sent them down there to take over. Like, I mean, and to look back on it and think, wow, it had that kind of impact on guys. I'll never forget I was at TV when they came to Atlanta one time, and Bailey, who I'm a huge mark for, was wearing a Razor baseball jacket.
Yeah.
They put out Razor merch still. Thank you so much. They have a Razor hoodie. I had a Razor Christmas ornament. Thank you.
Yeah, speaking of all that NWO stuff, like I mentioned to you, it might have been last night or something in a text that I just had lunch with Barry Bloom, who kind of, that's how everything got started.
Well, and Barry was the one who, when he drew up the contract, when we returned, was that he drew up that Kev, I, and one other person will share in 1/2 of the NWO merch. So every time they sell NWO merch, me, Kevin, Hulk get a check too for NWO stuff. Then I get all the Razor stuff and all the, you know, now see back in the day when I was on their first video game and there was only about 8 or 9 guys. Now they put everybody on it. So the royalties from then are a lot smaller. But back then, man, like I remember Coliseum Video that and they would change the banners and it would say Coliseum Video. It's like, oh man, I got to do this stuff. And I was like, no, you want to be on these because you get paid by Coliseum Video.
The matches weren't fun because they were at the end of the night and the people were dead, but you got paid.
Yeah, and they were on VHS back then.
Hey, did you know Coliseum Video was originally an adult video company?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Only you would have that kind of knowledge.
So, hey, man.
You dabbled in that field a little bit, I heard.
I don't know what you're talking about. So, hey.
Yeah, prove that, officer.
Hey, is there anybody want to hit Scott with some last minute stuff before we get going?
Yeah, I wanted to know, who are you most looking forward to seeing again at Raw 25?
My boy, I'm looking forward to seeing Kid Pop.
Yeah, that's what's up.
There has never been a time when I have run into him, no matter where my life was personally, and I would run into him in an airport or something. He always made me smile, and he does now. Now he's in such a good place. You know, his health. He looks incredible. He's in better shape than when he wrestled.
Oh yeah, way better.
And his head's in good space. I think Lou has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, she's a big part. Yeah.
No, that little rescue dog rescued you.
But I was doing really good before I found her.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I'm a Christian, so I believe God put you guys together.
Oh, for sure.
So I mean, because like had you not been in a good place, you wouldn't have been able to take care of her.
Yeah.
Because she can't take care of herself. She got one eye, one jaw, covered when you found her, right?
Yeah.
Like, didn't you spend a couple grand taking her to the vet?
Yeah, she had to have a couple surgeries, yeah.
So like, but to see that the positive effect that you being in the right headspace and having that companion, you know, like, that's why they do what they do with people with PTSD, which I suffer from, and stuff like that. I've never been around dogs.
Yeah.
Like, when Cody was here, he rescued a cat. We had a cat for a while.
It's a lot easier to take care of a cat.
No, well, you can't travel with a cat.
No.
You know, cats like to hang out at home, and they barely come around you at home. But like I was thinking about maybe I'll just get one of those little dogs too and just carry it around. Last time I saw you had like a baby carrier.
Yeah.
With Lou,
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll see Lou in New York, right?
You will. She's coming to Raw 25.
Nice.
Whether they like it or
sure.
not.
No, I saw that you posted something about like she was stressing, or well, she was excited because you went to Australia.
Yeah, because she thought she was going with.
She's thinking, okay, another road trip, and then it was breaking your heart. You couldn't take her.
She cut a promo on me when I got back from the gym for leaving her at home, and I went to the gym this morning. Holy
the gym
crap.
is closed here. Everything is closed. It's brutal.
Yeah. Well, do the ab wheel.
Luckily, I stocked up on food.
Do the ab
But no,
wheel.
I'm looking forward to seeing. I only have, I know some of the young guys, but I don't know them that closely. I know them from watching them wrestle. But I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing Kid Pac. I'm looking forward to seeing Big Grouchy Kev. Because he'll be there.
Yeah, he will.
How many times has he said, I'm not coming? And
Well, that's when you know he's coming for sure.
Right. So when he said that, I don't argue with him. I said, well, get well soon. Because sometimes he said, well, I'm not going. I go, oh, gee, they'll have to cancel the whole damn
Yeah.
Gee, they'll just cancel the whole show if you don't show up, Kev.
So, hey, Bill, do you have anything? No, we're good,
man.
And TK, anyone? Bueller?
I mean, I have stuff, but
Yeah.
let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, we're going to get... Hello? Hey, man.
That's a good.
I think he hung up on us.
Or he's joking with you again.
Oh, man, this has been... It's been tough with the...
Thanks for having me, Pac.
Hey, there you are. There you are.
I just want to say that you are, having done your first broadcast and then doing this at the last minute, you are, and I don't do these, but I'll do radio, like local radio. The sports channel want me to come and promote it, and I think I'll go by tomorrow and do that. But you are so much better now, bro. You've hit your stride, and I'm so proud of you. I saw that thing you sent me about that event coming up in Johnstown.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the breaking the cycle of addiction.
Yeah, well, and one guy's going, addiction is not a crime. He's running for the Senate and stuff, and that's, I think, like...
It's an honor to be asked to do that, Scott.
Well, go through what we go through so that, like how many of our peers are dead who live the same lifestyle we did, who actually introduced us to that lifestyle.
Yeah.
And they're all dead. So I think, like, guys like me and you are here for a reason.
Yeah. I was just saying, like last night, a lot of sad endings to our stories. Mine's not going to be one of them.
I saw it. Yeah, and you said, and I'm not going to be one.
Yeah.
Because I saw some guy posted like, "Well, do you think that your demons were a hamper on your career?"
No, he actually said, "Do you think
he said, "Do you
think your career was a failure because of your drug and alcohol?" I said, "No. I think it was a huge success in spite of it."
Yeah. And tell him to check the ratings because when you left and went back to Raw, leaving Nitro, that's when me and Kev went, screw it. You let our buddy go? Well, F you. And then you went up there and popped the territory, and Nitro never won another Monday night. So after you showed up the first time, the tide shifted, and you were the one responsible.
So a
lot of people don't give you credit for that. I felt never thought until you left. Then he went, oh my God, I should have held on to him.
Yeah, he was. Scott just said that Vince didn't really know. He wasn't. He didn't covet me as much back then.
Because Vince is a big guy.
Yeah.
Vince is a big guy, so all his top guys were big guys, and you were the first cruiserweight guy to ever get over huge with the audience.
Yeah.
Now they've got a lot of tiny guys. They've got a 205 show on their network, and they feature the smaller guys. But in that era, it was all big guys. And remember, the ring was like a billiard table because they'd have battle royals, and there'd be 300-pound guys in there.
It was the worst. It made you really not want to go to the ring every night. It really made it hard.
I'll never forget the first time I took a bump in a WCW ring after being on Vince's for years. And it's like a tactomat, because if you don't, it hurts worse. I'll never forget hitting a ring and almost bounced back to my feet. I remember going to Kev, wait till you take a bump. Oh, my God, it's like a trampoline.
Yeah.
And me and Kev had so much stroke with Bischoff at that point. I remember thinking, because his was 18 by 18. The rings were a little bit smaller. Vince's 20 by 20. I remember going, we just got to talk Eric into making the rings a little bit bigger. And Moxley was right there, and he went, the rings are fine.
Yeah.
They make me look faster.
It's true. The smaller rings. The smaller ring.
You got it, Mach. You got it, Mach.
The smaller rings tighten up the action. I talk about that a lot. It doesn't look as good, but the action's a lot tighter.
Well, it forces. I always felt like the guy's crowding.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, but
You know,
you're
I
used
felt
to
like-
working in Europe. Like, those rings were tiny.
Oh, they're brutal. Those are like 16 by 16, 14 by 14.
So,
but by then, once you get in a certain mode, you know how it is when you reach a certain level in your career. Time turns everybody babyface. So you go in there and sell a little bit, then beat the guy. So it doesn't really matter. But if you're a villain, I don't like the guy being all over me.
yeah. So, hey, the main things. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
The main things that we learned in this conversation is that botch of me in the rematch was all Scott's fault. Number one, and number two, I deserve all the credit for WWE beating WCW in the Monday Night Wars.
I agree. I concur.
Thank you. And you're a breath of fresh air. I'm sorry, we're out of time.
Gene reference. I love it.
I love you, Scott.
All right. I love you too, buddy. You coming in Sunday night?
Yeah, I'm coming. I'm going to try coming straight from my show in Akron. So, yeah.
Oh, okay, sweet.
All right,
I'll
now.
see you there, buddy.
All
I
right.
love you.
Love you
Bye,
too.
guys. Thank
Bye.
Thank you, Scott.
All right. Well, it was really good conversation, except for all the technical difficulties.
Yeah, but when the people see this, they won't know about that because it's going to edit together so nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Nice.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of.
Poor Mark. Mark, you got a long day ahead of you.
Mark's in there with scotch tape, like cutting the.
I got a couple of cuts to make.
So, yeah. Anyways, we do the best we can. Sometimes there's technical difficulties.
That was a great conversation, though.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, it was
Cool.
awesome. Kidding
Yeah.
me? Could talk to Scott Hall. Come on.
So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and get some.
So Saturday the 20th, you'll be in Akron,
Yeah.
Ohio for LEW Fierce is the name of the show. Tickets are available at tickettour.com. There's a VIP package for
How do you
Sean.
spell ticket tour?
Ticket and then OR.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, ticket tour.
Ticket tour.
Oh.
Yeah.
The He-Man character.
Yeah, that's
Gives
what
you
it sounds
tickets.
like. So you got that going on the 20th. You'll be at the Raw 25th anniversary on Monday. You also have your Royal Rumble viewing party at Duffy's Bar and Grill in Chicago. Tickets are available at eventbrite.com for that. And then in February on the 24th, you'll be at the Breaking Cycle of Addiction speech at Town Hall.
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool. All right. Anything else?
All
Denise?
right. Well, you guys can follow me on Twitter or on Instagram at _Denise Salcedo.
And don't you have a YouTube channel and
I
all
do,
that?
but I just got depressing news. My channel is no longer available for monetization because YouTube changed their program rules. So
Oh, great.
I'm a little depressed about that.
Wonderful.
So don't watch Denise on YouTube.
Yeah.
I
don't
got two
know.
words for you two.
Jimbo.
Follow me on Twitter at Jimbo in the Booth. And thank you to all the fans that came out at the signing this weekend and talked about how much they love listening to the show. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm everywhere at Sundown Motel. Check out uprocks.com, withspanish.com, uprocks.com/pro wrestling. Just today we uploaded a new episode of our podcast that has woken Matt Hardy on it.
Oh, great.
It's a fun conversation. We asked him what would happen if we threw Bray Wyatt into the lake of reincarnation. We asked him if King Maxwell's going to fight Kurt Hawkins. Lots of good stuff on there. And if you're coming to PCW Ultra this weekend, say hi to me and Jimbo because we'll be there representing the family.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, and tomorrow's Candice LeRae's last independent show before she goes to the WWE at Bar Wrestling. So
Yeah.
if you can make it out, please
She's
come
going to
make
be
it out to
fighting
that.
Joey Ryan in the main event. It's going to be
yeah.
amazing. The cutest tag team explodes.
Nice. All right, everyone. I'm not sure who the guest is next week. but
Kevin Gill in studio.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, but then we still might have a guest.
Okay.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, you can follow us on AfterBuzz TV. You can follow us on Twitter, The Real X-Pac, IG X-Pac12360, Facebook X-Pac12360 Show. Don't forget to give us 5 stars or better, or 5 stars, on iTunes and write your comments on YouTube. Also, if you do want to support Jazzy Gabert, you can go on GoFundMe.com/Alpha Female Surgery Support. And you can follow me on everything at TK Trinidad.
Cool. All right, everyone. We'll see you right here next week on X-Pac 12360.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Sean Waltman, producers Jimbo Frank and TK Trinidad, managing producer of AfterBuzz TV Wrestling Mark Donica, and the entire X-Pac 12360 staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in. Like us on Facebook, rate and comment on iTunes and YouTube. Follow X-Pac on Twitter @TheRealXpac and email us at xpac12360show@gmail.com. This has been a presentation of the AfterBuzz TV Network. Buzz you later!